That's me. Hello, everyone. Oh, I am great. I woke up way earlier than I ever do, and it is terrible.
Never mind. Just found out that my mic was muted the entire time. So, what is happening here? I'm your host, Leon, also known as Quaker Fern. I am so sorry for my mic being totally scuffed and not remembering that, hey, I have a mic. But again, what I was saying, that if you're new here to the Pretenders podcast, we will be talking about Overwatch Pretenders as a whole, as a community. We'll be looking at community highlights, we'll be looking at new meta changes, and also we'll be talking about results and the schedule for next week coming up, since we are already done with week 4. We're coming up with week 5. So, here we are. We are starting up that week 4 results, having Alpine Wolves actually get a 3-1 to Ultra Wave. Night Ops got a 3-2 to 7 Sins recently. Behind Action News team got a 4-0 due to a forfeit due to Toxic Storm Academy. Mercury Cougars got a 4-0 against Action News team, which was streamed yesterday, in fact. Breakthrough got a bye week this week. 7 Sins Academy got a 3-1 to Suya Academy yesterday, too. 5 Heads got a 4-0 due to a bye week. And then Suya got a 3-1 to Lightbringers. And finally, Lightbringers got a 2 win by a draw of 1 and a loss of 1 to Night Ops Academy. But coming up to for week 2, from what happened, 7 Sins Academy got a 4-0 due to Toxic Storms Academy's forfeit. So this week has been very interesting with how games are. RSW, I know you hosted a game yesterday. How was it? How was watching? Was yours was the 7 Sins Academy versus the Suya Academy, right?
Absolutely, and it was a very good game. I think both teams played pretty well. It was a 3-1 for 7 Sins, where they won the first 3 maps and then lost on Dorado, I believe.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, like, out of these maps was, like, out of these matches, actually, rather than maps, which one was, like, one that you would say would give the most hype for the community as a whole? Because I know Alpine Wolves versus Ultra Wave was also really good in general. So what would you say would keep the community hyped up this week?
Well. I gotta say, I think the Anubis game was probably the closest of them.
Just in general, every single.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you asking about that specific game that I hosted, or all of them?
All of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I also have to agree. In that case, then the Ultra Wave versus Alpine Wolves game was pretty intense. I watched all of it last night because that's what we do.
That's what we do here. But But yeah, so from what I've seen, I know that all the teams gave up a good fight. You did see some weird like ult economy going struggles happening with most teams, and some of them, yes, were happening in a lower division because they're learning fundamentals. They're getting enough knowledge to learn certain things, and sometimes ult economy is a little bit harder to learn. But then coming to like upper division, there was some struggles with that. There was a lot of people just constantly using both support ults, and even just in general, like a lot of combinations that like were needed because you could obviously just save ults. uh but give me death. Forbers actually is not here today. He is pretty tired and sick. I'm so sorry about that. I can but going into the rest of the games, it was pretty exciting to watch them. Honestly, most of the teams were really hyped, and you can see that them winning was pretty much just having to deal with positive energy and activity going through the entire thing. So I would say that this week was very eventful. There was so much that could be seen, and going into the next games. And to continue with that, we're actually going to be talking about the week 5 schedule, indeed. And so the week 5 schedule is O5 Heads versus Ultra Wave, Suya versus Seven Sins this week, which I'm pretty hyped about. Suya Academy versus Toxic Academy, Mercury Cougars versus Alpine Wolves, Lightbringers has a bye week this week, Night Ops Academy versus Behind Action News Team, and Action News Team also has now a bye week. Night Ops versus Breakthrough, and Lightbringer's Legacy versus Seven Sins Academy. RSW, what do you think is going to be like one of the biggest matches coming into this week's like pool?
Well, as everyone knows, the team that I am a part of, Seven Sins, is objectively the best team in the Overwatch Pretenders League. But for people who don't know about that, we're pretty amazing. Suya is a really strong team. They are probably going to be our toughest matchup so far, if not very close. I am extremely looking forward to that. On the other hand, Mercury Cougars and Alpine Wolves are also both very good teams, and that's going to be an intense matchup.
Okay. Well, for my thoughts going into this week actually has to do with Mercury Cougars and Alpine Wolves, and also watching the Suya versus Seven Sins game due to the fact that yes, I am a coach in the league, so I'm pretty just hyped to see how this game will go. And I know Suya recently actually has been doing pretty well with their wins against both Lightbringers and Night Ops, if I'm correct. And just watching them recently has been pretty interesting. And the Mercury Cougars versus Alpine Wolves, I know Alpine Wolves was the victors of last season's league, and so I know this is going to be a good fight. And Mercury Cougars being here since season 0, I know this is going to be pretty hyped up. So I'm waiting. I'm really up for this game. Like, yeah. But coming into certain things, we obviously have gotten our losses and gains coming into this week, and with these things happening, we have lost players and gained players, obviously. Recently removed was Mozzie from Toxic Storm A. I recently found out that he's also even trying out for Seven Sins, I believe, which is gonna be kind of fun to hear about. Kiwi has now been put into Skyhounds. Alex Scopes has been put into Alpine Wolves as a support. Orange to Skyhounds as a tank. Tactical, the coach, has been put into Ultra Wave as a coach now. Adrian again to Skyhounds, and then recently Opsid, who is a player for Ultrawave, has now become a coach for Suya A or Suya Academy. What are your opinions about these like new changes and new roster updates coming into this week, going into week 5?
It's a few of these people are people that I'm not entirely familiar with, and it's hard to say really, but I mean, Opsid and Tak have both been around for a long time, and both of them are taking new coaching positions. I'm really excited to see where this goes for both Ultrawave and Suya Academy, because I mean, both of those are players who've been with the league a long time and are pretty solid. I mean, we all know Tak's brilliant, and Opsid is bearable.
But all in all, Opsid, he's like, he says that he's supposedly the best Ana in the league, and I'm not doubting him, but he knows his knowledge of Overwatch, and I'm pretty hyped to see what exactly happens for Suya A, as he will be now a new coach, being with Costanza too, because there's already a couple of There's already a couple of coaches already in Sweden to see that now he's also part of that team, and also part of Ultrawave. We're gonna see some new things coming along. But then for tactical, I know he hasn't been a coach for a while, and he's part of coaching committee, and I believe that he will help Ultrawave become one of the best teams, or maybe even get to play, not playoffs, but even get to finals this season. So I'm pretty hyped for all of that in general. So honestly, good things happening this week, sad things happening this week, but all in all, I do believe that this week will hold a lot of like great things. Will hold a lot of great things for all teams. The only team I am currently worrying about is going to be Toxic Storm Academy, though, because recently they have, as Toxic Storm, they have been forfeiting their games and even losing players, because now recently they're getting up to only their last, I believe, 4 or 5 players, which is they're reaching the ice now. What's your opinions on that? Because I know, as both of us, we are also part of STAT, and you are a mod. How are things coming up with that?
I'm not sure about the specific situation with their team. I can tell you though, I've been in teams before that have been on the verge of falling apart, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very hard to take that negative momentum and turn it around and rebuild. And like, whereas it's a lot easier to build a team from the ground up. So when you're struggling like that, like every person that leaves really hurts.
Mm-hmm.
So it really could go either way with the number of players they have. They still have potential to rebuild. It's going to be tough, though. Everyone on that team is going to have to work really hard if they want to pull things back together.
Mm-hmm. And that's pretty true, honestly. That it's just recently that's been happening. But coming up to more things than just obviously the losses and gains, and even coming into week 5, we've experienced new PTR changes, which is actually pretty new to most people. If you haven't known, there's been a lot of PTR changes coming up into this week, and some of them having to do with buffs, some of them actually nerfing current heroes in the current meta, having to deal with goats. And both I, as a coach, or as an assistant coach for Seven Sins, I know that this is kind of going to be a struggle for us, leading to what's actually going to be for the next, what's going to be for the next comps that we're going to be having. And RSW, as a player yourself, what do you think, or how do you feel about these new nerfs and buffs of certain characters?
I feel like a good number of them are somewhat aimed at reducing the viability of goats, or at least making it not the sole viable strategy. And that's a good thing in itself. Some of the changes are, it's hard to say exactly until we see them. The Fan the Hammer being reduced slightly is not a huge change, but it makes it where if someone is getting healed while they're getting Fan the Hammered, you have to hit 5 or more shots on them,
Mhm.
because if they're being healed, then 4 will not do it.
Yeah.
If they're a 200 hit point hero, that's just McCree. He's not super common right now.
Mhm.
May wall nerf, May damage buff. Neither of them are huge in the current meta. But what are the big ones for Goat specifically? That would be Lucio, right? And what they did was they fixed bugs regarding his booping people around when they're moving to make it more consistent. And I think Reddit Lucio players in particular absolutely love that. I think Frosthound is happy with that. I talked to him a lot about this whole thing. You previously really couldn't boop divas or Orissas while they're shooting or flying or anything like that, and that's fixed. Specifically now, though, I think they reduced his speed aura, so you can't engage as rapidly in goats. You can, however, you wall ride faster, so Lucio individually can still go just as fast. So I really like the way they did that, because they kept his ability to individually contribute and weakened his contribution to that specific composition.
From what I've noticed though with PTR, is obviously everyone should know this by now from obviously the Twitter and PTR notes, is the new hero Basti. Am I saying that correctly?
Batiste?
Batiste. Okay, I'm not even close.
Triangle.
Batiste was added with his new abilities. One of them that most people obviously recognize is that his immortality shield. So if you obviously
Jesus.
try to get a hero all the way down to obviously 1 HP, there's still life left in them with that shield up. And a lot of people are trying to see what is this going to be changing goats as a whole? Are we going to be changing supports in it too? But then for other heroes, this is going to be having to deal with like Symmetra and she got a buff. It's actually having to do with her primary fire. It now has like a faster damage by like 20%. So that's just going to most likely increase the Symmetra mains coming into comp. Uh, but then also having to deal with some Doomfist bugs. There was just some things having to deal with like his abilities not actually pulling people in to them whenever he did his Seismic Slam. Another one is actually having to deal with knockbacks, because as D.Va and as Winston, or whenever you're able to pull someone back, you notice how far they will be pushed back whenever you move them. And for a while, that actually wasn't consistent. Most of the time, like if you jumped, they would either fly away faster or they would not even be where you hoped them to be. And so with that happening, obviously you're going to be having more consistency on knowing exactly where your enemy or your opponent will land as soon as you use your boosters or when you jump as Winston. Also with this case has to deal with Nano Boost. The HP or the health for it was actually reduced by 50 HP, which is not too bad, but you know, whenever you say not too bad, it can always end up going in the wrong way or the wrong direction, where you don't know if that HP will actually, you know, help your Rhine or a certain, like, RSW, they're actually asking you about your jersey and what jersey you're wearing.
Oh, I am wearing a Houston Outlaws custom jersey that says RSW on it with my number 10.
But back to the patch notes, like, yeah, having to just deal with knowing if you're using your nano boost correctly now, even though it still gives the same like damage output, you just have a little bit of less healing, or you know, less of a boost as soon as you get it. So that's been some of the new things that are coming around. And like recently looking into it, I'm not sure honestly where the meta is going here. I don't know what will stay and what will not. I feel like we have to wait until it's a fully established into the game that we can actually see changes and pretty much anything happening with us. Oof. And so, what's your opinion on this RSW?
You know, it's really hard to tell, especially with the new hero coming around, how the meta will be impacted. I have heard good things about him with bunker comps in the meta. I don't think that he will play in the 3-3 or GOATS composition, because his abilities are, while good, they're not really like mobile. Is an invincibility field, so if you're playing that in GOATS, you'd put that right in the middle of a fight with 6 enemies right on it, and they would have absolutely no trouble in just destroying that. As for meta changes overall, I think for a while now, the 3-3 composition is going to still be dominant. It might be slightly weakened, but it's going to be a slow decline, not like an instant change. So it's going to take a while for it to go away if it does.
So pretty much like a slow transition, like how not GOATS was, but like how Dive was initially, then just like slowly changing to like the Mercy Zen meta, where you had those two supports at the same time, and then you know obviously then going into GOATS, where everyone was just like obviously these heroes were the best heroes to have. So you know this is interesting coming into Overwatch. This has been one of the most frequent like patch updates coming into Overwatch. So we're seeing, you know, the development team actually doing pretty well in this. We're seeing more updates. We're getting what we want pretty much. And coming into Overwatch Pretenders, we're maybe slowly gonna see more decline or more decline of GOATS coming into like the new coming weeks. But obviously we do not know that yet because obviously we do not know that yet because the season actually is shorter than how it was beforehand, so we may see it coming into the season, we may not. So that it's gonna be different here. But finally, we're gonna actually be going into our interviewed guest. So our interviewed guest for this week are most of them everyone knows. Some of you guys don't sadly know, but for like, just so you guys know, we have Costanza/Lake coming in from Swia just to talk to us again more about patches, about his team and how it's going, like just in general. We're gonna also be having Opsid and Ronan from Ultrawave just talking to us about how their team's going, what's happening, what's on their minds lately, what's just regarding everything in general, and how their team's gonna be looking up coming into like the next games. And then Cat Dad coming in from Seven Sins, pretty much just having to deal with everything with staff as a whole, and pretty much him just giving his opinions about Seven Sins and how we as a team are going to be moving off to in the future. So that is going to be looking up for us, and pretty hyped for that, pretty hyped. So let's try to get obviously Costanza in here. But while we're getting him, waiting for him to get in here, we're gonna just, be looking at you guys' messages. We'll be answering some of the questions you have. Honksy, thank you for being the best hype man for your team.
While we wait, I do have a question for the chat. Mm-hmm. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no? Go ahead and give your answers in chat.
I'm like, what if happens if it just depends, It just, it just depends on how much, juice is actually in the pineapple, Because you can...
I feel like you're just trying to hedge your bets right now instead of picking a side because you don't want to offend anybody, and that's not okay. What? You have to pick a side.
No, because... No, there is a way around it, because you can de-juice the pineapple. It's... Why are we talking about this? Ham and pineapple's god tier. Ronan? Oh my god.
That's an answer I like. I want pizza on my pineapple. Look, Mengia, I have one thing to say to you regarding that. Houston Outlaws are objectively a team in Overwatch League.
They're a team?
That is true. They are a team.
Oh, I thought you meant in tier ranking. I was like, an A? Are you sure about that? They're an A team. They exist. Yes, you can Ronan, yes, you can de-juice pineapples. So they're dried up on the... Why are we talking about this? I'm like... Oh my god. Oof. So, we're still waiting here for Costanza, and we're just gonna see how this goes real quick. Water your pineapple. Don't. Don't water just random pineapples.
I mean, freeze-dried pineapples are good. Terrible pizza topping, so... I mean, probably never tried it.
We're actually most likely going to be switching and having Cat Dad show up instead of Costanza real quick. So... Yes. So, let's get ready for Cat Dad.
Alright, 7 Sins reunion party.
Oof. Hello, Cat Dad. Well, I'm just gonna be fixing things up a bit. Mind introducing yourself?
Hey, I'm Cat Dad. I play on Seven Sins, and I play support. And fun fact, I actually do have cats. I have 3 and a dog.
Nice.
Now, while Leon here is getting everything set up, Cat Dad, I have to ask you, what is it like to bear the enormous responsibility of being a sport player on the best team in Overwatch League? Overwatch Pretenders League, but I guess both.
League, yes, we are the best team in Overwatch League.
In the official league itself.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's pretty cool. We have a good team. We rebuilt the whole roster after Season 1. So it's been pretty interesting kind of progressively picking up folks and getting to a place where we're comfortable, where we have, enough folks to show up for games reliably and not have to be really stressed about scheduling. And, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think we have the whole thing set up now, so I'll turn it back over to Leon for questions.
Yes. And so Cat Dad, I want to just give, obviously because I wasn't there sadly, but how were things going coming into like the match, and what was our strategies? Because I know obviously I know and RSW knows, but let's tell the audience, what was our strategies coming into the recent game that we were coming into?
Yeah, so this past week we played against Night Ops. In terms of like specific preparation, we actually did a lot less this week because we practiced 5 days last week to get ready for our Lightbringers match. So we, yeah, we kind of like all chilled out and had like 1 or 2 scrims this week instead of quite so many. It was pretty interesting though because we kind of came in expecting to see a little bit more varied compositions from Night Ops, but they ran a lot of goats. And I in the post game chat, one of the Night Ops folks pretty much said like, yeah, we decided to run a lot of goats after Lightbringers trashed us. So
they decided to change comps.
They changed up their strategy a little bit. So I was expecting a lot more like DPS heavy stuff from them, and so it was an interesting match in that case because it's Lightbringers obviously has their goats down pretty well, and so we had 2 weeks of matches where it was really fairly strong like goats teams versus us, and goats is probably one of the worst things for us to run.
Oof. So, like just recently, oh sorry about that. So, like, what is something you're looking to improve regarding your recent matches, or just in general? Because I know as team rep, you get information by both like us, middle management, and like coaches themselves, plus players. So, what do you think, or what do you hope as a team rep to like improve as a whole, as a team?
I obviously like in terms of pressing immediate stuff, like I want us to improve our goats v goats play, so we don't have quite so like stressful matchups in that case. But kind of like longer term, I want us to just improve as a team in terms of how we coordinate and learn to not let tough matches and not let losses kind of get to us so much, because I think we've gotten better at that, but it still is pretty tough when you have a pretty hard match and then you take it to the tiebreaker match and then you just kind of throw it in the tiebreaker.
Well, that happens sometimes, and I know RSW, you also were able to be there during that match. What was your opinions just coming into and watching the tiebreakers, and pretty much just seeing, like, I know we were getting a little things were happening where it wasn't so good, but then coming into the other matches, we still got a 3-2 out of it. What was your opinions coming into the matches that we did win?
Well, as you know, I had just kind of semi-recently joined the team. Do you mean the maps we won from this match?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you meant the past matches that the team won. It's like, I wasn't there for that. I think we did a pretty good job on, especially Lijiang Tower was really strong in the Goats v Goats. The one map that we lost on Lijiang is the one where we didn't start on Goats and then switched to it way too late. I think the mistake on Nepal, on the other hand, which was the other control map and the tiebreaker, is that instead of trying to just win the Goats matchup, we tried to run weird strategies that we hadn't really prepared for to counter Goats. And I think we could have possibly won the Goats v Goats. I'm not saying we would have, but there is, a better chance that way of just trying to see which team could Goats better instead of...
Like, there was a possibility that we could have won. All right.
Yeah, and I think that goes into like not letting kind of like tough matches get to us, because I think by the time we got to a tiebreaker, our kind of focus on that Goats matchup was not as tight as it had been earlier in the match, which happens. Yeah. People get tired.
Well, yeah, like that. The people obviously, they obviously do get tired. It happens sometimes to us, but
just play Reaper.
just play Reaper.
You're right. Next time.
We'll do that next time.
God damn it.
Just play Reaper.
Okay. But also, I know you're on staff and you're part of the social media and also website team. Like, how has it been since Rick's departure, because obviously that's been a huge thing with us, and like just in general with OWP. So how's it been like being part of those teams and him being gone?
Yeah, so I'm not like super active in staff. I've been trying to like actually change that because I would like to see us do more on the website and social media side. So mostly my observation has just been that stuff's been kind of a little quiet in the staff server now that Rick's gone. Not that that's a good or bad thing, just that I think people are trying to figure out how to pick things up and who's picking things up kind of afterwards. And I don't think we have like a clear, at least my impression anyway, we don't have a clear like, someone's in charge at the moment, which is fine. Like maybe that's better in the long run to not have one specific person who's kind of the boss. I don't know. We'll see how the team kind of develops.
Alrighty. And to continue off of that, how do you think that like website and social media team can actually improve for OWP?
Yeah, so one of my goals with kind of becoming more active in the website and social media team, and I say this as if I've done a lot. This is like, this is my current mission at the moment, to become more active. So I haven't done much of anything yet. But one of my goals is to like have our standings, like simple goal, have our standings up to date, just like daily would be great. Because right now it's, maybe like once or twice a week we get standings updated. Sometimes, if people are really busy, it just goes for like a week and a half or two almost. So we got a little bit behind earlier this season, and that's a little frustrating for some folks, I think. In the middle of a not even that long of a tournament, 5-week long tournament, to not be able to have like an accurate kind of like update, like snapshot of where things are at without kind of doing your own spreadsheet.
Yeah, because sometimes you're just like, where actually are we? Are we like what placing are we at with other teams coming into both Group 1 and Group 2? And then for obviously lower division, they obviously don't have a Group 1 or Group 2. So it's just like simple as that. All you need is just the solid groups that you already have. And and like, yeah, it can get frustrating because like, obviously as a coach you're like, where are we at? Where can we look forward to improving on and seeing our standings as for that? But yeah, I can say that those are actually really good goals, and I see that improving for all, like not just like solely on website and social media team. I see that like just improving with all teams in general, coming into staff, like obviously with server management, with production, and with events. We want to get everything updated. We want to actually be more communicated with each other. So there's that. But so for you, Cat Dad, I know you obviously play flex support in Seven Sins, but could you tell us a little bit of how you actually like became or got into like OWP as a whole? Like, how did you join?
Yeah, I think it was before this past summer. I found the Gold Watch Discord because I was just kind of looking for more folks to play with. Like I had a group of friends, but we weren't very steady. And I was like, it'd be pretty cool to like just kind of fill out our group and like have 6 folks to play in like a little tournament or just practice something, like play the real game as a team. And then I think a few weeks after I joined Gold Watch, it was announced that Gold Watch was shutting down and being integrated into the OWP Discord community. So I got kind of adopted into OWP, and then I posted a looking for team post, did a couple of tryouts, and I played briefly, as in like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, on Artificial Sky in Season 1. And then after that, decided to kind of look around for other teams. And so I tried out with Seven Sins, and I was actually trying out to fill the main tank slot, which is pretty funny because I never played main tank with the team, like not even in scrims after the tryout, because we always needed somebody to fill for support. And I was already like honestly a support main, but I was like, I'll play main tank because like it'd be fun to learn.
Yeah, like I play main tank. I can do this, right? But yeah, like I did not know you played in Artificial Sky. What actually RSW? What happened to Artificial Sky? Because weren't they rebranded, or am I just completely out of the loop on this, or was I late
No,
onto the party?
I believe the team disbanded for the
Mhm.
most part, but a few of the players picked up by Seven Sons together. That was Cat Dad, and who were the others with you?
Deserty joined us for a while, and then Libby Cat and Ollie went to Breakthrough. When
Okay.
Breakthrough was formed.
Okay.
So two of you went to Seven Sons and two to Breakthrough.
Yeah.
Right, and that was after you guys won the previous season, right?
Yeah.
Season
So
one?
I left before the win actually on that team.
Oh.
Alrighty.
I was just there for a little while. Also, I forgot to mention, Djibouti went over to Lightbringers and is a coach there now because he graduated pretty much right after he got picked up.
Well, as like to see you, like for the short amount of time that I actually been here in OWP, I've seen you grow as a person, which is really nice to see, and to be able to like have you like remind me like, hey, I actually was a flex support player. And like I was like I was a flex player for tanks, and then I also played supports, and I was like, what? I didn't know that. And I was like, what? I never put you on tank whenever I first joined, so I was just like, he never plays tank, but he always plays support. I don't understand what's going on here. When did he play tank? And now that like I see you're like, oh yeah, he did play tank. Like
Yeah, I played tank in a one tryout, I think, and then maybe half of a scrim, and then after that I just played support.
oof.
The chat.
Deserty and calm.
Oh my god.
Oh, Deserty. Maybe wish him a good farewell, man. Love him, but God. But after all, I'm just gonna ask you: do you have any final words you want to say to your week 5 opponents? Not week 4, week 5 opponents. And also, now's the time to just do shout outs. You can talk about anyone in Seven Sins or anyone just in general with the OWP server.
Yeah, so let's see. We're facing Suya this week. So words for Suya is maybe we can have a no goats pact.
Just shake hands here. We don't want goats, okay?
Yeah. Pinky swear, no goats. And in terms of shoutouts, just the whole team's been amazing. It's been really cool to have our kind of more recent pickups, like RSW has been amazing to have on the team. Jangles has been great. We haven't been able to play him during a game because of scheduling stuff, but he's been just a lot of fun to have in scrims with us. So hopefully that'll work out some more in the future. And as always, the coaches, Druid and Leon, are awesome and great at kind of calming us down, getting us focused, teaching us how to play the game better. And Solus is the best manager, so big thanks to Solus for helping me get on the team and helping me run the team now. So
thank you so much, Solus, for all you do. I will even say that because Solus, you and RSW are one of my favorite staff members. You do so much for us, so thank you. But thanks again, Cat Dad, for joining us today. It was really, really fun. It's nice to actually, get to talk to you. So, as we go, that's it, man. So, adios, Cat Dad. Thank you so much.
Okay. I have to say I am surprised to hear that Cat Dad used to play tank, because as a tank player and as someone who's known Cat Dad, he is way too smart to be a tank player.
He's way too smart. Oh, I actually, in fact, did not know he played tank, which is kind of like, I knew he played tank. It's just, I was like, did he mix click give himself a tag? Like, because I saw the tank roll and I was like, that doesn't seem familiar with my brain on this team. I've never seen him play that. I've seen him play, like, I've seen him play support each time in each, like, league matches. So, it was weird. It was weird. But all in all, we're going to try to get our next guest on here, seeing what happens here. But all in all, thank you, Cat Dad, for showing up. Shout outs again to Solus, Jangles, and pretty much everyone in Seven Sins. You guys have done great. You've done amazing. Thank you, RSW, for even being one of our new people in the league. Thank you.
That's what I do.
Now again, trying to get Opposite and Ronan from Ultra Wave. And no, I'm not calling y'all dumb. Why would I call y'all dumb? You guys are amazing.
I think they're implying that I called them dumb by saying tank players aren't smart, which, I mean, I just DPS and have a bigger hit point pool, but I might be doing it wrong.
Oof. Ronan? Is that you?
Yo, what's up?
Oh my.
What's poppin'?
So, I guess we're gonna have to be doing a solo man here interview.
Where is Opposite and Costanza at?
I do not know, man. I don't
know. I cannot tell you where they're at. Opposite is AWOL.
He's oh no.
I guess I'll do it solo.
Alrighty. So, you know, I'm happy you're here. You know, we're gonna see how this goes. And just a simple question. Just introduce yourself. Talk about yourself. You know, let's get everyone to know you.
Hey guys, I'm Ronan. I play main tank for Ultra Wave. I was on Nova last season, but Nova died, and in its place, Ultra Wave came out.
So, Ronan, you know, just talk to me about Ultra Wave in general. Just tell me how it's going and what's your chances of going into playoffs this season. Because I know, like, recently you guys have been a pretty hyped team, being at one of the new, like, revamped teams, just showing up, being strong as hell, and playing your matches currently with Mercury Cougars and Alpine Wolves recently.
So we were kind of handpicked, sorta, our team. Like, all these free agents kind of picked up onto this team. It's been really good. Our only loss was to Alpine Wolves, but they're like a really good team. You know, they didn't lose a game last season, so we're not really beating ourselves up too much for losing that match. And we know that we're gonna make playoffs. And you know, we're winning a lot in scrims. We're getting better and better each week. So I'm not really too worried about the rest of the season. I think it's gonna be good. And in Ultra Wave, you know, we're all friends. You know, we're all palling around. Like, it's not like, you know, super duper serious and like we're yelling and screaming at each other and, you know, not playing Overwatch.
Yeah. But, like, here's another question. It actually has to do with your culture as a team, because I know, looking at the Twitch chat just a second ago, you were talking about Deserty's comms having to deal with, Mom, I changed my mind on the chicken nuggets or something. What's your culture?
All over the place. I gotta tell you, Deserty's all over the place sometimes. He's like, Mom! He's like having conversations with people, like while we're scrimming, like while we're calming. Like, we're like, let's use ults now, and he's like, yeah, I'll be down in a sec. Like, while we're doing stuff. I mean, we're all friends, you know. We're all, we all, you know, have fun in our Discord, and we like play Overwatch together and stuff. Like, so it's not just, you know, we come around, we hang out as a team, and then we all just bounce, do our own thing. We're definitely like more tight knit than that.
Yeah. Oof. So, continuing on though, because I know you're a graduate, what's your like futures in Overwatch in general? Because, like, you recently become a graduate, and many people actually have this question for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually try to continue Overwatch in the future. I'm gonna wait until after this season and then try to join a like 33 to 3700 team or something, because like that's the whole point of this league, right? Is to you play, you get better, and then you move on or whatever. And I'm still gonna be here. I would love to cast more games. I would love to be active here in the community. I would love to maybe assistant coach a team or help however I can. That'd be really cool.
Well, that's honestly, with like how you did yesterday, you recently, obviously, you casted with Moshi, which was really
I
fun
tried.
you tried, I understand, but it was actually a really good casting. I enjoyed how you guys were pretty hyped coming even to like the Anubis game, with Action News Team and Mercury Cougars. It was just, you guys all around had fun during that casting, and I would say that you, into the future, I really do recommend you to continue casting, man. It was fun being your streamer. But
I mean, it was a good time.
mhm.
So,
But I wanted to ask you, because I know Opson's not here, do you have any information of him actually becoming a Suya Academy coach?
no, he hasn't said anything. I actually didn't know. He didn't say anything. He's been AWOL,
Ooh.
for the last 12 hours or so. So I don't know. I cannot tell you. But it's interesting that because he has a big brain. Opposite is a Giga Chad big brain support player. So I mean, if I was a support player, I would definitely be listening to him if I wanted to get better.
Yeah, alright. And just going up to how now you actually have Tactical as your coach for Ultrawave. How is that? What was like your ideas of bringing him as a coach? Because I know you have, I believe, 4 coaches now in Ultrawave.
Maybe we have 4 coaches, but maybe not quite feels like that sometimes. So Tactical, I believe he coached Action News Team or Disastrous. I don't know the name of the team. Like in the past. And Opsid was like, "Hey, can you help us?" And he just wrote out this big, huge like Discord post with like everything that we're doing wrong and how to get better. And then Opsid was like, "You should just be our coach and like apply and be our coach." And so hopefully he's gonna help us a little bit more now, moving forward for the rest of the season.
Well, that's pretty interesting, that just to know that one of the people in coach committee is going to be helping you out, one of the higher ups and the coaches is going to be helping you out, is actually pretty interesting to know. And I give you guys good luck with that, because I know Tactical and all the coaches and coach committee are very smart. They understand how the game is. They are very fluid in what they're going to be talking about when just going in general with drills and scrims. So give you guys good luck with that too. So
I'm pretty hyped for it, to be sure.
Yeah. This is one of the coming up with the final questions here, though. How did you get involved with Overwatch, Pretenders, and with Ultrawave in general?
So I was a hard stuck 3K player. Could not get better at the game, and I saw this post, and I used to play competitive TF2, so I was very used to like scrimming and playing in games. So I was like, sure, why not? And so I joined the league back in September and got on a team super quick. Pugged all the time in this Discord, and I don't know, I just got better. It's been good ever since. So definitely play on a team and pug. That will make you better at the game.
And just with Ultrawave, how did that come up? Because I know Opsin was like rinking around every person that he could get, and I know he got like Deserty after like Sevensons got him out, and then like he was just like pulling everyone in. How did you get pulled in to say into this?
Opsin really was the ringleader there. Opsin was like, I want you and you and you and you, and like I tried out for some other teams, but like I really like playing with Sweets on Nova, and Sweets wanted to play with, I wanted to play with Opsid, and then Sweets wanted to play with Opsid. So it was like, let's just play with Opsid, and then Honksy, and then Rice and Deserty are nutcase. And Adam's been kind of AWOL, but I really like Adam X. Big Brain, Giga Chad, Adam X. So no, I really like our team, but we definitely are like handpicked. Like, Rice is really good, Deserty's really good, we gotta get them, like, kind of team.
Would you say some of you guys are also from, like, we're also bunched up after, like, Forebears' team, Chug Buddies, because I know Opsid got some people from there, and then you guys just made that. Would you say that also happened?
Maybe. I don't know. When I think of Ascenders, I think of how our team lost in the best of ones, and I stopped thinking about Ascenders, like, immediately, because our team got
wrecked,
our butts.
would you say? Alrighty. And well, this is my last question to you. Do you have any words for your opponents coming into week 5? And this is your time for shoutouts.
I don't think I have. I don't know. I don't want to get toxic. I don't want to say easy 4-0, but I hope it's a good game. The game against. I hope we win. I will say that. I do hope that we come out with the W. I don't want to give them a win. I don't want to give 0-5 heads the W, dude. Not happening. And I don't think I actually have any shoutouts. I don't have anything to plug. No Twitter, no Twitch. No
Not
nothing.
even Pugs? Not even playing Pugs? Come on, man.
I will actually plug Pug. Come Pug every night. We need Puggers. Sometimes we have 12. 2 people leave. Another person leaves. It's gone. It's dead. We need Puggers, please.
Alrighty. Well,
Now, real quick, do you have any answer to Chewy's question in chat, which is, why does Ronan look like Dollar Store Iman? Would you like to respond to that?
I can't help it. I was born this way. I was born to be knockoff Emong.
oh, nice.
Or I guess Boostio. I look like Boostio. Unlucky.
Well, thank you, Ronan, for joining us today. You were... really, just thank you.
Thank you.
No,
I guess
thank
I'll
you.
bounce.
Well, bye. Oof. I'm so... Well, that's all for our current interview guests, unless someone pops up. But sadly, that's going to be all of our interview guests. Thank you, Ronan. Thank you so much for joining us today. You know, hats off to, obviously, Ultra Wave. Hope they do well during their 0-5 heads game. But also, again, hope you do well 0-5 heads, because I know there's gonna be some action coming along with those two teams. But, you know, gotta do something. But with Pugs, though, please join Pugs. As 2 Puggers ourselves, me varied, RSW more than so, you will always see RSW in Pugs. But, you know, join Pugs. Most of the time we have Midnight Pugs. They're pretty fun to play against. And they're very, very, you know, helpful if you just want to learn new heroes and actually understand like what you're messing up with. And there's sometimes coaches who will be there just, you know, help recruit and tell you what's wrong. But all in all, you know, join Pugs.
Absolutely. Pugs are a great way to get better at the game. We have some fantastic Pug leaders. Most importantly, there are no webcams in Pugs, so you can play without looking at my face.
Yes. But now we're going to actually be getting into the plays of the week. Coming into all the plays that we got from this week, having to deal with league matches, having to deal with just matches that you played during comp, and even just highlights that you thought were cool seen through Pugs games. So we're actually going to be first starting off with a play of the game by Ronan, coming in through Dorado, where, you know, honestly, just press mouse 1, man. Press mouse 1. He, you know, there's a shatter coming in from the opposite Rhine, but, you know, here he does just, you know, press the damn mouse 1. Again, this is also coming from Ultra Wave, having to deal with Honksy getting a nice bomb on King's Row, coming into their defending match against Alpine Wolves. This one, though, now has to do with Mercury Cougars and Action News team. Coming up with Chesh actually getting a really good stall, even though, yes, he does get staggered by about a couple of seconds, but here, no one notices him, which is very strange from having a Mercy actually being able to spot him. But he lasts a very long while and, you know, makes a stall. And if you want to submit any plays from these, you would actually submit them to your team rep or just to media in the Overwatch Pretenders server. This one is actually by Corky Bebop, again on Mercury Cougars and Action News team game, where he gets a solid 5k using Barrage and sadly missing Herbs from Mercury Cougars. Another one by the MC versus Ant game, having to deal with 2 Diva Bombs. This one actually is a very prolonged fight, having to deal with them just being able to lose some players and be able to regain it back, basically being the basic 2 CP everyone knows and hates. This again is another one of the fights coming into the very end where Mercury Cougars actually indeed wins this game. There was just some nice plays all around and being able to obviously get those good staggers in, but you know, they do obviously fail, which allows Mercury Cougars to win. You know, this game was just a very long game, and I would say both teams had it worth. This one now comes from the Seven Sins versus Night Ops game, where Tegu gets just solid kills by having high charge. You know, Tegu, one of the best DPS that I can say. I have fun just messing around with him, but obviously his diva has improved just coming into these new games. This one by Jaharo, you know, the man, the myth, the legend, Jaharo, the one everyone knows. This is just coming from one of his matches, and honestly, just giving solid, good alt fires, melee combos. This was just a nice game all in all to watch. Oh, not game, sorry. This is a pug. This one actually has to do with OWPod, quote unquote, saying, "Is this dog man?" Having his nice, just in general, like, kills coming into their Dorado game against Alpine Wolves. This is a very intense moment. He gets a few nasty kills. Honestly, they're just good. They're just good. I'll say that during this entire time, if I did have the audio on, your ears would bleed from how good the callouts were. That just coming into pretty much chasing every single person they could. This one actually has to do with Pugs, a non-playing Genji, where he gets nanoed, sadly slept, but proceeds to kill a good 3k, good 3k. This one actually having to deal with RSW here himself, playing on his Mei B account. It's his alt account where he usually likes to play Mei, but can play all the other characters with his nice McCree play.
Please note the account name is Call Me Maybe. It's brilliant.
This one having to do with Spidey getting a nice, I believe, 6k. Another one from Spidey on not King's Row, on Route 66, getting, you know, I believe 4 kills. No, yeah, 4. Here, another one for RSW playing main tank. You know, something you rarely see nowadays.
Except in Pugs, you see that there all the time.
The one person who will play the main tank while everyone else plays the DPS. And, you know, that's it. All for coming about with plays this week. So, having to just say any new things coming around with the server there, don't forget, we are actually needing casters and streamers. This has to do with us wanting to stream more games, wanting to just get more games out to y'all, and you guys having frequent streams about how your favorite team of this league will actually win or lose. So, if you are interested, please apply as a streamer or as a caster. Like Ronan said, he is a caster. You'll maybe be able to, you know, cast with him, mess around with him whenever we're streaming. And also deal with me, because I am your weird streamer of the day that's always there. So, you know, have any time, you know, just sign up. It's pretty fun. You get to see teams, you get to experience what they do, and it's nice analyzing things. So, yeah. Any news that you would say RSW is happening for this, for like current events that are happening for the league?
You know, I don't honestly think so. We have any upcoming events. We just have some great matches to watch this week, and hopefully some of them will be streamed.
Mm-hmm. I will get up on them. I will be your streamer. I will be there for the games. So yeah, we're gonna be coming up with events soon. I cannot say them yet, but events team is actually coming up with pretty great events that will not simulate Ascenders, but may like be little mini tournaments that will get everyone interested in. So again, thank you so much for watching this podcast. Thank you for watching episode 4. If you know, you don't remember me, my name is Leon, also known as Quaker Fern, with your guest host being RSW. So, you know, if you ever need us, just, you know, find our battle tags, find our Twitters, and thank you so much for watching. Adios.